Welcome aboard, everybody. Happy Tuesday, October 15th, 2013. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, your host for the next 2 hours, bringing to the table a quarter of a century of clinical experience in the delivery of physician-level, science-based, clinically verified alternative therapeutics to drugs and surgery. By the way, the only people that call what I do alternative are the MDs. I don't practice alternative medicine. Alternative to what? I practice naturopathic medicine. Calling what I do alternative medicine is like calling, a Labrador Retriever an alternative dog. Because the only dog that's a real dog is a German Shepherd. Well, I don't think so. Different dog for the different job. MDs are trained in a reductionistic methodology, which is old-fashioned, outdated, and completely out of sync with the reality of the human experience. Reductionistic medical philosophy is a poor lens, a dirty, distorted lens through which to view the divine and intricate machinations of the human body. Reductionism argues if it can't be measured, it does not exist. Since nobody has ever measured the soul, since nobody has ever described the soul through a dissection of a human being or an X-ray or a CT scan, therefore it does not exist. If you can't measure it, it doesn't exist, so argues the reductionist, and if it doesn't exist, well, it can therefore have nothing to do with the machinations of the human body. But if it does exist, think it through. And this is not a religious conversation. This is a spiritual conversation. I don't care if you're Hindu, Muslim, Buddhist, Jainist, born-again Christian, Roman Catholic, Baptist, Mormon, doesn't matter. If you are of the religious ilk, you believe in the spirit. So let's think it through. At the moment of conception, people would argue the spirit enters the physical plane of existence. And once the spirit enters the physical plane of existence, and conception begins, the cells of your body start to divide and become a human being. And they do this all without anybody's conscious control. It is one completely automatic system of metabolic reactions, each following the other in a grand cascade, which ends in a living, breathing human being. How about that? Your body grew itself all by itself from a single-celled organism into the magnificent manifestation of you. And now, once you're alive and breathing, if you cut your finger, do you have to tell your immune system how to fix it? Do you have to tell it when to secrete fibrinogen and activate complex complement? Do you have to tell it when to increase helper T-cell production and lay down fibrinogen? No. You have no idea what those are unless you're a medical person. The body just fixes it all by itself. When you eat a banana, do you have to tell your body how to digest it or where to put it or what to do or how to absorb it or how to excrete it or what to do with it once it's absorbed? No. The body does it all by itself. Most, if not all, of the processes which keep your body alive happen autonomically. They happen without your conscious control. Well, if they're happening without your conscious control, something must be controlling it. And how is this possible? Well, the only logical explanation is it is the presence of your soul force. It is the presence of the spiritual aspect of your being inside the body, which is making everything work, and which is exemplified by the simple fact that at the moment of death, when the spirit leaves the body, we're going to have to argue that the spirit exists in order for this argument to have legs. If the spirit does exist, it comes into the body at conception, and then it leaves the body at the moment of death. Well, before the spirit entered the body, there was no body, and once the spirit enters the body, there is a body, and then once the spirit leaves the body at the moment of death, once the light leaves the eyes, once the breathing stops and the heart stops, and the Elvis has left the building, what happens to the body? It decays. Everything stops, and all of the chemicals that are in the body 1 second after the moment of death stop working. Well, If life is just a coincidental amalgamation of biochemicals, which are somehow magically running all on their own, then why does it stop? I'll tell you why it stops, because Elvis has left the building, because the soul force, whatever it is that existed before you were born and which will persist after death, and every major religion has, a post-mortem reality, right? The Catholics argue that you can only realize God once you're dead. The Hindus argue that it's your job to realize God while you're in the body, but nonetheless, everybody believes in the persistence of the soul if you're a religiously minded person, but everybody neglects the question, well, how does the presence of the soul in the body relate to the health of the body? It's a very important question. Now, reductionism, MD-directed medical philosophy, the medical philosophy that your MD is trained in, believes that there is no soul, that it doesn't exist because it's never been measured. So if the soul doesn't exist, then it can have nothing to do with the body, which is why MDs are trained to believe, and your psychiatrist is trained to believe, that your consciousness is a function of biochemistry, that how you think and how you feel has nothing to do with anything other than biochemicals. Because for goodness sake, you can manipulate how somebody thinks and feels by, giving them alcohol, by giving them ecstasy, by giving them LSD, by giving them all manner of biochemical interventions. So the colorblind art critic MD argues that consciousness is a function of biochemistry, and that once you're dead, it's over. There is nothing after the death of the body, that all we have here is just, a one-time experience, and it's lights out when the body dies, and God only knows what happens next. According to the MD, nothing happens next, which is one of life's greatest ironies, because many MDs are religiously minded people. Many MDs are religiously minded people, but not when they're at work. It's kind of like if you're an MD and you have a strong faith, it's like being a Democrat at home and a communist when you're at work. Because when they're at work, MDs do not believe in the presence of the soul. They just haven't thought it through. It does not exist for them. And the MD is trained to believe that once you're sick, you're screwed, and your only option is to fix it in a managerial fashion by overtaking and overpowering the biochemistry of the human body with drugs and surgery. This is nonsense, because the human body knows how to fix itself. The human body wants to fix itself. The human body is attempting to optimize its function all of the time under the direction and the leadership of the intelligence imbued into it through the very presence of the soul force, the very presence of the soul, that which brings light to your eyes, that which keeps everything bonded together, is the same energy, the same consciousness, the same stuff that makes the body work. So what do? Well, when we're up against the health challenge, we argue that the body knows how to fix itself, the body wants to fix itself, that your body is smarter than Dr. Oz. And so we recommend you give your body the stuff it needs to fix itself. That's all that we do. Every single holistic health discipline in the world argues for the presence of the soul and a medical intervention which supports the innate ability of the human body to fix itself. The only people that argue against that notion are the MDs. They stand alone in their reductionistic medical philosophy. The acupuncturists, the chiropractors, the homeopaths, the naturopaths, the herbalists, Ayurvedic practitioners, traditional Chinese medical practitioners, Tibetan medicine, acupuncture, every single medical discipline in the world except MDs purport and espouse a holistic understanding of the relationship of the human body to health and disease. And this is why it's doubly, triply, quadruply important that you fire your medical doctor, because their philosophical understanding of the workings of the human body are old-fashioned, outdated, wrong, completely out of sync with what's real. They're completely out of sync with what's real. It's as if they're computer technicians who don't believe in electricity. right? It's computer technicians who don't believe in electricity. And they're going to screw it up when they try to fix the computer because, well, they don't believe in electricity. They've thrown the baby out with the bathwater, and this is why they're so dangerous, and this is why their therapeutics are so ineffective and deadly. Because they go against the grain all of the time. Ever sanded wood, ever gone against the grain? Messes the wood right up, doesn't it? Well, that's what MD therapeutics do for chronic disease. They go against the grain. They exert a hostile takeover of sorts of your biochemistry, and they mess everything up. Which is why the drugs stop working after a fashion, and then you need the next new designer drug, or you need to take 2 times as much, or they just add another drug on because they're throwing whatever they can against the wall to see what sticks, and you're stupid enough to believe that they know what they're doing. You have been culturally conditioned to believe that your MD knows what's best for you, and they do not. Your medical doctor only knows what they've been trained in. What they've been trained in is one small piece of the pie of medical science. And they have decided on purpose, nobody held a gun to their head and made them be MDs. They could have become homeopaths or chiropractors or naturopaths or acupuncturists. They could have done that. But they chose, of their own free will, to align themselves with a medical profession, which is the leading cause of death and the leading cause of bankruptcy in the United States, and which has gone out of its way politically to keep every other medical discipline underneath the heel of its jackboot. You wouldn't respect someone who became a member of the Ku Klux Klan on purpose, would you? You would not respect someone who became a member of the Aryan Nation on purpose. Well, why do you respect your MD? Because they have aligned themselves with a political profession which is much worse. 780,000 people a year killed by MD-directed medical treatments. For goodness sake, ladies and gentlemen, fire your medical doctor now. Call me instead. I'm coming back after these words. Tuesday, October 15th, 2013. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. I've got 7 DVDs available now. 7 DVDs available for your use. If you are a longevity distributor, you can use these DVDs to show people what we are up to show people the wisdom of science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. Oh, really? You have asthma? Well, I know a physician that says you don't have to suffer with that. If I lend you this DVD, would you watch it? If I send you a link to this webinar, will you attend? This is how we're going to spread our message of health recovery through science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition to whomever is wise enough to hear. Let's go to California right now and talk to Dennis about type 2 diabetes. Hey, Dennis, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hi, doctor. I have a question. I am type 2 diabetic, and I just recently heard about Dr. Wallach's longevity product and talked to this person, Sharon, and she told me to talk to you because you might be able to recommend one of these longevity health packages, I guess it's called.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah, so Sharon is one of the distributors, and she's also a retired registered nurse. She says that you're a doctor, you might be able to have a better recommendation of
well, yeah, I get it. I get where you're coming from, and I appreciate you know, her finding you and showing you what we're up to. And there's an interesting thing to understand here. Because the pharmaceutical industry has such a tight lock on the way that medicine is delivered here in the United States, we have to resort to a grassroots network of, you know, just concerned citizens who see the wisdom in science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. They try it for themselves. They get remarkable results, and then they tell everybody in their world about what we're up to. This is what we have come to because we are attempting an end around the pharmaceutical industry, right, by growing a grassroots coalition of the informed. So we tell that woman, she tells you, you call us, we help you, you help your neighbor, and this is how we're going to grow it. And I just wanted to put that into context for you because, you know, we're not...
Go ahead.
Yeah, we're not in the business of selling nutritional supplements. What we're in the business of is educating people about what they can do to make themselves better. And, you know, we pay our distributors to help us do this, because who the heck wants to work for free? Nobody. So this is what we're up to. It's like one big happy family, you know, spreading a message of health recovery through science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. Now, in the 1950s, there was a medical doctor named Merz. I think it was M-E-R-Z or M-E-R-T-S, I think. Merz, M-E-R-T-S, I think. He could turn type 2 diabetes on or off in laboratory mice by giving them or withholding from them the mineral chromium. Chromium is an essential mineral, and in order for your body to metabolize its blood sugar efficiently, it needs chromium. It also needs another peculiar mineral called vanadium, and as it turns out, it needs about 17 other trace minerals. So minerals, things like vanadium and chromium and calcium and sulfur and zinc and selenium, are vitally important in order for the sugar doors on the cells of your body to open up once they've been stimulated by the presence of insulin. So if you don't have the minerals in your body, you'll eat sugar. The sugar makes insulin be produced. The insulin binds to the cell wall, and it sends a signal through the middle of the cell to open the sugar door. But the door stays closed because the message gets corrupted because there ain't enough minerals in the cell to propagate the message. It's kind of like going to somebody's house and snipping the telephone line, you know, so they can't make any landline calls out of the house anymore because the line's been clipped. Well, so this is it. You don't have, there's no gene that codes for type 2 diabetes. It doesn't exist. And if anybody's ever told you that, they're lying to you in order to, you know, make themselves look good. There's no gene that codes for type 2 diabetes. It's a simple nutrient deficiency.
Yeah,
so,
all I know is that I've been listening to my doctor, and she's been giving me insulin and pills and this and that, and it's not working.
Yeah, the insulin would actually make this worse. And the reason that type 1 diabetics and type 2 diabetics get gangrene eventually, you know, they'll lose their toes, lose their feet, lose their legs, lose their fingers, lose their hands, is because of the net negative effects of insulin. It's not the sugar that's making the cells become destroyed, it's the insulin. And what do the MDs do? They give insulin. One more reason to fire your MD. Stick around, Dennis. I'll tell you what to do when we come back from the break. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the luckiest day of your life. You've tuned into Fire Your MD Now. Welcome back, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health, welcoming you to another live edition on this Tuesday, October 15th, 2013. We're talking to Dennis from California about type 2 diabetes. Dennis, are you still with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so how much do you weigh, Dennis?
I'm overweight. I'm 220. And,
okay. Yeah, so don't feel bad. Your weight problem is not your fault. It's your doctor's fault. And ironically, it's the same process that is driving your weight that's driving the blood sugar issue, because weight gain is a nutrient deficiency as well, as is type 2 diabetes. And this is where the MDs have gotten it completely wrong, because they will tell you that being overweight is a risk factor for having type 2 diabetes. Well, it's not. There are millions of people who are overweight that don't have type 2 diabetes, and there are millions of people who have type 2 diabetes and they're not overweight. Type 2 diabetes, from our position, is a nutrient deficiency disease. Obesity, from our position, is a nutrient deficiency disease. There are two arms of the same octopus, and often they'll show up at the same time in the same person, but it's a coincidence. It's not a cause and effect thing. That obesity does not cause type 2 diabetes, and type 2 diabetes does not cause obesity, but they are both caused by nutrient deficiencies. And so I would expect that once you give your body the raw materials that it needs, you should experience a positive benefit across the board. Your weight should improve, your mood, your energy, your appetite, your sleep. And then with time, within 90 days, 90 days, you should see a noticeable, measurable drop in your blood sugar levels, which begs the question, are you measuring your blood sugars on a regular basis?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Well, you need to maintain that discipline as you get on board with our program, because once our program kicks in, you're going to need to adjust your prescription medication dosages accordingly, with the goal, the ultimate goal here being to have you have completely normal blood sugars without prescriptive medication help. This is the goal, all right?
Yes.
So at your body weight, Dennis, the recommendation is easy. It would be 2 healthy blood sugar packs, 2 healthy blood sugar packs. A 2.0 would be the best way to do it. There's a brand new iteration of products. Longevity is always researching and developing and implementing new stuff based on new clinical findings. So a healthy blood sugar pack 2.0, you need 2 of those every month and 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium. 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium and 2 healthy blood sugar pack 2.0s a month. Do that for 90 days and see what happens. Now, in order to really kick this into high gear, we also recommend that you, me, the man in the moon, and everybody else in the world eliminate 10 foods. There are 10 foods that we recommend you stop eating, and if you stop eating those foods and take these nutritional supplements faithfully twice a day, and the person that asked you to call me can tell you how to take it, and she can tell you how to get the stuff at the wholesale price, you should see a noticeable, measurable change in the blood sugar within 90 days. But also remember, Dennis, that, you know, technically speaking, because of the holistic nature of what we do, this isn't specifically a blood sugar thing. This is a Dennis from California thing. Right. So as you're going down the road with the diet and with the nutritional supplements, just be mindful of everything. You know, your mood, your energy, your appetite, your sleep, your sex drive, your bowel movements, your how many times a day you urinate, right? All this stuff, because we expect things to brighten up across the board as we're waiting for the blood sugars to adjust. So that's what I would do, and your friend will tell you how to take this stuff and how to get it at the wholesale price, and she'll also be able to give you a heads up on the 10 bad foods.
Well, I have another question concerning because if the sugar level does go down, I would probably have to start weaning off my pharmaceutical medicines, wouldn't I?
Yeah, that's correct. Yep.
Yes. So
you
you
can do that 2 ways. Yeah. So what you should do is keep a record of the blood sugar numbers. Either write them down on a little notepad with a date and time every time you take a blood sugar, or if your unit that you measure your blood sugar with stores the information, some of them do, they store it in a little chip inside the blood sugar meter, just bring that, once the numbers start to come down, bring that information to a pharmacist and say, whoa, look, man, my sugar numbers are coming way down, I need to adjust the meds, and the pharmacist will tell you exactly how to do that.
Oh, okay.
So
Good.
You don't even need to go back to the MD, because that's just a fool's errand anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, no kidding. But anyway, that's how we do it, Dennis. Give that a try. Thanks for the phone call. Thanks for the trust. And call us back in about 4 weeks with a report. I would look forward to that. Thanks for the phone call, Dennis. Hey, it's looked like we're staying in California. From Dennis to David, who wants to give us a little testimony, I think. Hey, David from California, thanks for calling. You are live.
Hey, Dr. Glidden.
What's happening, David?
Hey, so first off, I appreciate the show, and I've been dealing with borderline high blood pressure, as my MD called it, for about 2 years. The numbers were probably around like 140 over 95.
Oh,
and, yeah. Of course, he said, he tells me, oh, well, there's nothing we can do for you until it gets worse, and then we can put you on a drug.
Yeah, don't you love that? I mean, isn't that just crazy, right?
Yeah. So, heard about you guys and hopped on Longevity to doing the protocol, and then within about a month, the numbers went from 140 over 95 to now they're about 110 over 70.
God,
so,
I love my job. I love my job. Did anything else improve, David? Anything subjectively, like, your mood, your energy, your appetite? Did anything else get better noticeably?
Oh, yeah. Well, also, my skin, I noticed probably within 4 days of going gluten-free, I had kind of scaly skin on the back of my arms a bit, and, like, dry skin, and that I mean, it was unbelievable. Like, I would get in the habit of feeling the back of my arms in the shower because it's, like, kind of scaly, and then all of a sudden it'd be super smooth, and it's like, okay.
Man, you got to love it. So your skin improved. How about your energy or your sleep?
Yeah, also, so I do a lot of bodybuilding, and I noticed my recovery times, like, I've just improved so much.
And that's remarkable, isn't it? This is it, David. I mean, you know, this is why we live, because this stuff is so easy. It's so simple. It's like, you know, telling somebody who's dying of thirst, well, here, take a drink from this water, you're going to feel better. Oh, really? Do you think I'm going to feel better? My doctor doesn't think I should take water. Well, you know, it's really, this is so simple and easy to do, which is, you know, why healing is easy. So good for you, man. Good testimony. Good job. Have you decided to become a business builder with Youngevity and try to turn other people in your life onto this?
Yeah, definitely. I'm a distributor, and you know, at the gym, it's actually pretty easy because, you know, they're kind of like-minded people into the nutrition thing. So, you know, everyone's looking for the quality supplements to take. Right. So, you know, all you have to do is just turn them on, or, you know, check this out, or I know that Youngevity has really high-quality supplements. So it's actually pretty easy.
Well, you know what you might want to do if you haven't already done it? The next time you place an order with Youngevity, get a bundle of those little Rebound FX in the little single-serve packets. Mm-hmm. You can buy like 30 or 60 or 90 of them at a time and give the Rebound FX packets to your buddies at the gym. And say, look, just take this the next time you work out and tell me how you feel. And if you like how it makes you feel, I can get you more.
Yeah, I was thinking about giving those away as, like, birthday gifts, too. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a great thing to do, man. And, you know, this is how we do it, one person at a time. And I would also encourage you and every other Youngevity distributor who's listening, a very prudent, smart, and easy way to build your business is just to point. So point people to this radio show. Point people to Dr. Wallach's radio show. Point people to my website. Point people to my webinars and my DVDs. If you use the resources that we've generated, it's much easier because you don't have to become the chef, right? You just bring people to the restaurant. And that's a very, very easy thing to do. And when distributors get into the habit of just bringing people to the radio show, just bringing people to the webinars, just sending people links to the webinars or videos or handing out the DVDs, life gets much, much better. And, you know, your monthly paycheck gets much, much better, too, which beats a poke in the eye with a sharp stick.
Right. So, you know, I do have a question, though.
All right, shoot.
Yeah, sure. Well, so my face, though, it will flush very easily. You know, I think
when does that happen, you know, independent of taking the supplement or after you take the supplement?
No, it'll happen, you know, even if I haven't taken the supplement anytime soon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's called malar rash or butterfly rash.
Oh, yeah, that's a food allergy.
Yeah, so, I mean, that'll happen. I mean, I've seen an improvement since I've been on Youngevity. I've been on Youngevity for now about 8 months, and it's kind of, you know, plateaued, and it's still there. And I also get anxious pretty easily.
Okay, so have you eliminated the 10 bad foods?
Yeah.
All right, good man. And how much liquid calcium do you take every day?
I'm about 180 pounds. I take the 2 ounces, right?
Okay, very good. So as an experiment for 7 days, take 4 ounces a day of the calcium.
Okay.
And see what happens to the anxiety.
Okay.
And then as an experiment for 7 days, take the de-stress. Get a bottle of the de-stress.
Okay.
And add the de-stress into the bargain because that Millar rash, I believe has its roots in a B vitamin deficiency. So if you give and that's probably why it's gotten better with the Beyond Tangy Tangerine because there's B vitamins in it. But, you know, because of decades, I mean, how old are you?
I'm 24.
All right, so you've had 23 years of intestinal abuse from wheat, barley, rye, and oats, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so that's going to interfere to a certain extent with the ability of your body to absorb what's in the nutritional supplements. So even though you're taking the right dose for your body weight, because of the past abuse to your gut, your body may only be absorbing 30, 40, 50, 60% of it. There's no way to know. So that's why we're going to do a little in-house experiment with doubling the calcium supplement.
Yeah,
And
I'm also sweating a lot, so I guess I'm losing extra minerals, huh?
Yeah, you would be. Yeah, and also if you just add some de-stress in for 1 month, and then look to see what happens to that butterfly rash on your face, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised.
Okay.
All right. All right, David, you're the greatest, man. Keep up the good work. I appreciate everything that you do. Now, remember, it's on you now, buddy. You are the last best hope your gym rat friends have and the people in your life have to live long, healthy, and wealthy lives. So get out there, baby, and enroll, enroll, enroll. I appreciate you. Well, folks, this is it, right? It's a grassroots coalition of the informed, a merry band, if you will, of men, women, and children all around the world who experience firsthand the benefits of what we do and then get so excited about it that they tell everybody in their world about it. Now, listen, there is a way to tell people about what we're up to that will drive them away from you quickly. And you'll end up in the NFL club, no friends left. And there is a way to show this to people that attracts them to you. Learn how to attract people. Lean on your upline sponsor to become proficient in the simple enrollment message. There is a simple way to show this to people that attracts them to you. And when you can dial that in, baby, everything changes. Going to Indianapolis and talk to Claudette when we come back. Stick around. Hey, everybody. Let's get away to Indianapolis and talk to Claudette. Hey, Claudette, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden. How are you?
Fine, thanks. Thanks for calling. What's going on in Indy?
In Indianapolis, I spoke with the distributor, Delton Dale, who was informing me that possibility you could help with my thyroid, which have tumors in it, and the problem of, super dryness and unable to have normal bowel movements twice a month.
Yeah. How tall are you and how much do you weigh?
I am 5'8", and I weigh about 270.
Yeah, okay. All right, and, generally speaking, because, in addition to the constipation and the dryness that you're experiencing, you got anything else that bothers you, like mood, energy, appetite, sleep, anything like that?
I am super anemic. I'm so tired, and they tried months and months with iron deficiency to supply me with iron. My body rejects it. They did a test that showed my bone marrow only creates immature blood cells and not mature, so I have a hard time breathing, asthma, a lot of issues.
Yeah, all right. So from our point of view, the immature blood cells are caused by a problem in the bone marrow where the bone marrow has run out of the nutrients it needs. And the bone marrow then becomes infiltrated with connective tissue. And so if there's connective tissue in there instead of bone marrow, then the production of red blood cells is going to be funky because there ain't enough bone marrow to get the job done. It's really quite simple from our point of view. And all of these conditions that you're experiencing, now it's possible that there was some type of exposure to some nasty crap in the past that had a negative effect on the thyroid. But often when the thyroid starts to become underfunctioning and goes south, so to speak, it's because it's deficient in selenium, which is a mineral like calcium. It's deficient in copper, and it's deficient in iodine. It's just nutrient deficiencies. And I have no idea, are the parathyroid glands swollen? Is it a parathyroid tumor, or did they not tell you?
No, they did biopsies, and it's definitely 6 tumors in my thyroid.
Are they benign?
No, they're not.
They're malignant?
Yes.
So you have cancerous tumors in the thyroid?
That's what they told me, and their solution was to remove the thyroid, and that's not what I'm going to have done. I don't want that done at all. So coming from New Orleans, I know my grandmother lived to be 113, so I lived on a lot of herbs and stuff. Whatever she fixed, I had no idea. But, I didn't see a doctor till later on in my life. So I guess I kind of felt the need to go back to the beginning.
Yeah, that would be a good place to stay, right? I mean, there's a lot of longevity stories in this country. One of the oldest citizens of the United States was an African-American guy that lived in the swamps of Mississippi, and he died at, I think, 115, 120, I can't remember, but he lived on a diet of lard sandwiches. He would get lard, he'd freeze it, and he would use the lard instead of bread to, put turkey between or put ham between or put a tomato between or whatever. Lard sandwiches, right? How about that? So there's a lot that we can do here. The first step for you to support and promote the structure and function of your body. Remember, we don't treat cancer. That's illegal. The only people that can do that are the oncologists, for goodness sake. But we can give your thyroid nutritional support, which is not a bad idea here, and give your whole body nutritional support because everything's connected and your bone marrow's funky and, you've got a lot of stuff going on here. So the first thing to do, are you able to log on to the Internet?
I am.
Okay, please visit my website, fireyourmdnow.com. And as soon as you log on to the website, a little box automatically pops up, and it asks you if you would like to become a member of my free newsletter subscription. So if you give us your email address in that little box and then click OK, you will be directed to a page on my website that has a list of something called the Good Food, Bad Food Diet. I want you to open that list up, download it to your computer, and the first thing I want you to start to do is eliminate the 10 foods that are listed as bad on that list. Eliminate the 10 bad foods, and stick around, Claudette. When we come back from the break, I'll tell you what to do for nutritional supplementation. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. We're finishing out the first hour with Claudette when we come back.